हाय एवरीवन। वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल आर आई बी एड प्रो। मैं हूं आपकी दोस्त, इस चैनल की होस्ट ऑफ आर आई बी एड प्रो, एंड हियर आई एम टू गाइड यू थ्रू योर एजुकेशनल जर्नी. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. Today we will be talking about the aims of education that were drawn from the ancient intellectual traditions of India. This is the first topic in the paper Vision of Education in India. See, aims of education means why are we educating people? We are educating our kids, our young generation because we want them to achieve something. But what is it that we want them to achieve? हम क्या चाहते हैं कि एजुकेशन की वजह से वो लोग क्या अचीव कर पाए? That is the aim of education, uh, the meaning of it. So when we generally talk about the aims of education, these things come to our mind. Harmonious development, mental and emotional development, moral development, physical development, building of character, self-realization, cultural development, citizenship, individual and social development, wise use for leisure, vocation, livelihood, knowledge, complete sense of living. All these things are the aims of education that we talk about generally in today's time. But our topic means to explore that what were actually the aims of education many years ago, which were residing in the Indian traditions. तो इंडियन इंटेलेक्ट में, इंडियन नॉलेज में एम्स ऑफ एजुकेशन क्या होते थे, एंड एशियन टाइम पे व्हाट वाज इट दैट पीपल वांटेड टू अचीव थ्रू एजुकेशन. So we will be talking about all those things today. See, Indian Asian system education Indian ancient education system evolved over the period of time, and it focused on the holistic development of the individual by taking care of both the inner and outer self. जो हमारा ancient education system था वो वक्त के साथ काफी evolve हुआ है, and it focused on the holistic development. पूरी तरह कैसे एक मनुष्य का, एक बच्चे का विकास हो, अपनी इनर ग्रोथ भी हो, स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ भी हो, एंड द आउटर सेल्फ जब वो सोसाइटी के साथ, फैमिली के साथ, अपनी कंट्री के साथ, नेबरहुड के साथ, प्रोफेशन के साथ इंटरैक्ट कर रहा है, तब कैसे वो उसमें ग्रोथ शो करे. द सिस्टम फोकस्ड ऑन द मॉरल, फिजिकल, spiritual and intellectual aspects of life. Students were taught to appreciate the balance between human beings and nature. So the teachings were not restricted to classrooms, but it was also related to the nature. उनके बीच का relationship कैसे maintain रहे. Teaching and learning followed the tenets of Vedas and Upanishad, fulfilling duties towards self, family, society, thus encompassing all aspects of life. तो जो teachings थी वो कहीं ना कहीं हमारे वेद है, ग्रंथ है, उपनिषद है, उनके बेसिस पे, उनकी एक लर्निंग पे बेस थी. और एंड दे यूज्ड टू टीच कि कैसे कोई भी इंसान अपनी ड्यूटीज, नॉट ड्यूटीज टूवर्ड्स खुद के लिए, फैमिली के लिए, सोसाइटी के लिए और बाकी लाइफ के एस्पेक्ट्स के लिए पूरी कर पाए. So this was the introduction of our topic, and now we'll move on to understand what are the salient features of Indian education system. So first of all, the sources of education. The Asian system of education, it was actually taken up from the Vedas, Brahmanas, Upanishads and Dharma Sutras, as we discussed. And these sources of learning, it was based on various discipline and subjects such as Itihas, which means history, Viksiki, which means logic and reasoning, Mimamsa, which means interpretation of things, Shilpa Shastra, which means architecture. We all know the marvelous architecture that we have in India today is all made in the past. Why? Because the teachings were given to the students in great details for that thing. Arthashastra, polity. Then we have Varta, which means agriculture, trade, commerce, animal husbandry, and the Dhanurvidya, which is archery. All these were given to the students. Then it was also so the teachings were not just restricted to the brain thing, but also the body, the healthy body and the healthy mind concept was there. So to maintain a healthy body, there was physical education, and the physical education curriculum included krida, which means games and recreational activities. Then they have different kinds of vyayam prakar, that means exercises. Then the dhanurvidya, that is archery, for acquiring the martial skills, लड़ने की युद्ध की क्रिया आए, उसकी skills, उसका कौशल का विकास हो. And then the योग sadhana, which was to train the mind as well as the body. And these are just the few things which are mentioned here, which was done for the overall development of the body. The gurus and their pupils, जिन्हें हम शिष्य भी कहते हैं, they work together conscientiously to become proficient in all these aspects of learning and to assess कि कितना हमारे शिष्यों ने सीखा है. शास्त्र अर्थ, which means the learned debates were organized and the people used to debate, the students used to debate amongst each other. Pupil at an advanced stage of learning guided younger pupils. जब कोई students जो काफी हद तक काफी चीजें सीख गए हैं, they used to assist their teachers in order to guide the younger pupils for learning these things. There also exists the system of peer learning. जैसे आज के टाइम पे हम अपने classrooms में peer learning का concept रखते हैं, that existed in the previous times as well. Moving forward, the second point is knowledge related to life. So the knowledge which is related to life, that was shared with the students. How? See, during ancient times in India, there was a system of gurukuls, the ashrams. So the students or the pupils or the children, they were basically sent away to these ashram, to these gurukuls, where they stayed away from the distractions of these materialistic world. And usually these ashrams and the Gurukuls were situated in some remote area, usually in some amongst the nature, amidst the nature, in a jungle or a forest or something like that. So they were away from the materialistic world. ठीक है? They stayed in the beautiful natural surroundings and they used to sit at the feet of their teacher and they would then comprehend and try to understand all the intricate problems of life by listening to their teacher and by meditation. So they would listen the things from their teacher and then they would think upon it and deeply go inside the whatever they have listened through the meditation. Attempt was made to make the student capable of experiencing the supreme truth and mold the society accordingly. कोशिश की जाती थी स्टूडेंट्स मेडिटेशन में इतना डीप जाए कि वो जो एक्चुअल रियलिटी है लाइफ की, एक्चुअल सच है लाइफ का, they can experience that and accordingly with the learnings they can help the society. Third is close association between teacher and student resulted in the all-round development. तो जब एक शिष्य अपनी टीचर के घर पे या गुरुकुल में रहता था, they were accompanied by a sense of devotion to and service towards their teacher. So this was a very unique tradition in ancient India. So students were saying not only कि आप जाओ और पढ़ो like hostel system, no, they also had to do a lot of things. जैसे हॉस्टल में खुद से झाड़ू लगानी होती है, खुद से सफाई करनी होती है, कपड़े धोने होते हैं, अपना काम खुद करना होता है. उसी तरह से ये जो शिष्य होते थे जो गुरुकुल में रहते थे वो अपना काम करते थे एंड दे यूज्ड टू लिव वेरी क्लोजली विद द gurus and they had the sense of devotion कि मैं गुरु की सेवा करूं. So that's why they used to stay with them, do all these things and imbibe all the qualities of their guru by staying with them and somewhat imitating them. Then the next is development in social work. The pupil's resident asked his teachers how it would make it possible for him to develop social contact as it is a sacred duty to collect fuel wood, supply water and do other household or jobs for the teacher. तो जब वो वहाँ उनके घर पे रहते थे तो ऐसा नहीं होता था कि बस हाँ ठीक है पढ़ाई लिखाई करी और छोड़ दिया. नहीं, दे हैड टू डू द वर्क. दे विल लकड़ियाँ कलेक्ट करके लानी खाना बनाने के लिए, आग जलाने के लिए, पानी कहीं से भर के लाना, कपड़े धोना या लकड़ी काटना. All these things were done for the teacher and for themselves and in this way they would also receive instructions how to live in a domestic life. गृहस्थ जीवन में कैसे रहना है, ऐसा नहीं कि हाँ चलो बाहर जा रहे हो तो तुम्हें पता ही नहीं घर में क्या काम होता है, कोई रेडीमेड करके दे रहा है, नहीं, घर में क्या काम होते हैं उनसे भी वो टच में रहे. दैट्स व्हाई दिस they were made to do all these things of work. So they will receive all these instructions and also learn the concrete lesson of the dignity of work and social service. और ये सब करते हुए वो दो important चीजें भी सीखते थे कि कोई भी काम छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता. देयर इज अ डिग्निटी ऑफ वर्क. जब भी कोई भी काम कर रहे हो तो उसका एक अपनी इज्जत होती है. एंड द सोशल सर्विस की दूसरों के लिए काम करने से कुछ गलत नहीं हो जाता या आप छोटे नहीं हो जाते. दैट इज समथिंग दे यूज टू लर्न. देन द रोल ऑफ टीचर. टीचर्स हैड कंप्लीट ऑटोनॉमी इन ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स कि वो अपने सिलेक्शंस खुद कर सकते हैं स्टूडेंट्स का, उनका सिलेबस खुद डिजाइन कर सकते हैं. एंड व्हेन द टीचर वाज सैटिस्फाइड विद द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स, उनका कोर्स खत्म हो जाता था. तो द टीचर वुड एडमिट एज मेनी स्टूडेंट्स एज ही लाइक्ड एंड टॉट व्हाट हिज स्टूडेंट्स वर कीन टू लर्न. जो बच्चे सीखना चाहते थे टीचर वो सिखाता था. और कितने स्टूडेंट्स चाहिए दैट वाज आल्सो डिपेंडेंट ऑन द टीचर ओनली. सो डिबेट एंड डिस्कशंस, these are the primary methods of teaching, and the teachers were assisted by their advanced level students. Vocational training. Students were given training in occupations of animal husbandry, भेड़ गाय इन सब का पालन कैसे करना है, then agriculture, dairy farming, etc. Evidently, ancient Indian education was just not theoretical, it was highly practical and was really related to the realities of life, to the practicalities of life. जो actual जीवन में काम आता है वो चीजें सिखाते थे. Served Okay, so these gurukuls basically served as the laboratory for the educational experimentation from where many noble traditions were developed. These are some of the salient features of the Indian education system, and now we will talk about the aims of education in ancient education system. See, all our methods of teaching, our curriculum, our system of evaluation, these all are shaped and molded according to the aims of education. हमारी education की need क्या है, हम उससे क्या develop कराना चाहते हैं, क्या achieve कराना चाहते हैं, उसी basis पे depend होता है सब कुछ कि हमारे teaching के methods क्या रहेंगे, हमारा curriculum क्या रहेगा, हम कैसे evaluate करेंगे. Everything is dependent on that. And these aims are basically influenced by the philosophy of the life of people of a country. एक country के लोग उनकी क्या फिलोसफी है, वो कैसे अपनी कंट्री को ग्रो होता देखना चाहते हैं, खुद को ग्रो होना देखना चाहते हैं, उसी फिलोसफी पे हमारे एम्स ऑफ एजुकेशन डिपेंड करते हैं. तो अकॉर्डिंगली एशियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम में कुछ इस तरह के एम्स रहे हैं. सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन, जिसे हम आत्म विद्या भी कहते हैं. कैरेक्टर एंड मॉरल डेवलपमेंट. होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट. Pursuit of knowledge which is known as gyan. Preparation for life's duties. Social harmony and well-being. Transmission of culture and spiritual heritage, and the practical skills for the livelihood. Let's see them one by one in detail. So let's talk about the self-realization first. So one of the primary goals was self-realization, which means understanding the inner self, अपनी आत्मा को समझना. Education was seen as a means to achieve the spiritual enlightenment and the liberation. कि आप पढ़ेंगे, उसके ऊपर मेडिटेट करेंगे, then ultimately you can have that spiritual enlightenment. This was emphasized in the Upanishads, which advocated for knowledge that transcends the material world. उपनिषद में उस knowledge की बात की गई है जो material world से बहुत परे है, और वो knowledge कहाँ से मिलेगी, जब आप खुद को समझेंगे, जब आप meditate करेंगे. So that is what they mean by self realization. The second aim was character and moral development, which is your dharma, आपकी ड्यूटी क्या है. सो एजुकेशन एम टू इनकलकेट द धर्म और राइटियसनेस और मॉरल ड्यूटी इन स्टूडेंट्स. एक मॉरली अपराइट एंड वर्चुअस लाइफ वाज सेंट्रल टू one's personal and social being. The Gurukul system, where students live with their teachers, emphasized discipline, humility, and respect for all forms of life. Holistic development. The purpose of education was just not academic, but it focused on the overall development of the body, mind, and soul. This involved intellectual studies, physical training, and spiritual practices. Subjects like philosophy, logic, grammar, mathematics, and the arts were taught alongside ethical and spiritual values. तो ग्रामर लॉजिक रीजनिंग मैथमेटिक्स ऐसे सब्जेक्ट्स के साथ साथ आर्ट्स भी टॉट होती सिखाई जाती थी स्पिरिचुअलिटी स्पिरिचुअल वैल्यूज भी सिखाई जाती थी एंड फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट के लिए फिजिकल एजुकेशन की क्लासेस भी चलती थी pursuit of knowledge which is means gyan knowledge for its own sake was valued and there was a strong emphasis on the pursuit of gyan which means true knowledge including both practical and metaphysical knowledge. Practical knowledge भी and metaphysical which means आत्मा के लिए जो knowledge चाहिए which is something you cannot touch which is not tangible उस तरह की knowledge पे भी focus रहता था. Scholars were expected to be lifelong learners. ये नहीं तुम्हारी गुरुकुल विद्या खत्म हो गई and you're no more a student. No, you had to learn throughout the life and education was considered as a never ending process. So जहाँ से ज्ञान मिल रहा है ले लो. Then the fifth we have is preparation for life's duties. So education prepared people, students, individuals to fulfill their responsibilities in society. जो society की तरफ जिम्मेदारी है उनको पूरी करे चाहे वो किसी भी तरह करे आप घर में रहते हैं हाउस होल्डर है तो करे आप रूलर है किंग है तो करे या अगर आप चाणक्य की तरह स्पिरिचुअल गाइड्स है कोई पंडित है ऋषि मुनि है तो उस तरह से उसको फुलफिल करें लेकिन अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वाह करें फॉर एग्जाम्पल द क्षत्रियास विच मीन्स द वॉरियर क्लास दे वर ट्रेन इन द गवर्नेंस एंड वॉरफेयर while the Brahmins, which were the priests, Pandit log, they were taught in the scriptures and rituals. Social harmony and well-being. Education was also a means of fostering social harmony. सब जगह शांति बनी रहे आसपास. It helped individuals to understand their roles within society and encourage them to contribute to the common good. The teachings emphasized the importance of community living and mutual respect among different groups. तो basically हमारा सोसाइटी में क्या रोल है और उस रोल को हम समझे और उसका अच्छी तरह से उसको फुलफिल कर पाए एंड जो हमारे लिए भी सही है और सोसाइटी के लिए भी सही है कॉमन गुड ज्यादातर लोगों के लिए सही है उस काम को हम उस काम की तरफ हम कंट्रीब्यूट कर पाए कम्युनिटी लिविंग पे बहुत तगड़ा फोकस था और कम्युनिटी लिविंग के साथ साथ एक दूसरे के लिए रिस्पेक्ट पे भी काफी एम्फेसिस था Seventh is the transmission of cultural and spiritual heritage. A significant aim was to preserve and transmit India's rich and cultural, spiritual heritage from one generation to the next. जो भी traditions है, जो भी cultures है, वो सिखाए जाएं और वो generations by generation pass होते जाएं. Gurukul system of education, where knowledge was passed down orally from teacher to student, was central to this process. Notebooks नहीं होती थी कि teacher बोल रहा है notes लिखते जाओ. Usually they used to listen and then sit in silence and meditate upon it. Practical skills for livelihood. Along with now this is vocational training, okay? Along with philosophical teachings, practical skills were taught to prepare individuals for their respective occupations. This included art, craft, and trade, and specific knowledge necessary for their roles in society. So ये नहीं है कि हाँ ठीक है बस ज्ञान की बातें सीख ली और उससे तुम्हारा बाहर सोसाइटी में पेट भर जाएगा लाइवलीहुड के लिए क्या करोगे उसकी ट्रेनिंग भी दी जाती थी सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द एम्स ऑफ एजुकेशन व्हिच वर प्रिवेलिंग इन द एशियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम दैट्स ऑल थैंक्स फॉर watching and if you like this video and think it helped you and will help you in your exams to prepare your personal notes do give it a like share it with your friends and subscribe my channel not everyone. Thank you.